Intro. In 1973, Chile witnessed one of the most consequential political earthquakes in Latin American history. A democratically elected socialist government was overthrown. A military strongman took power, and in the shadows of the crisis stood the influence, money, and strategy of the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency. Today, half a century later, many experts warn that Venezuela, under Nicolas Maduro, sits on a similar precipice: a failing economy, a fractured political landscape, foreign influence from competing world powers, a security apparatus that is both feared and corrupt, and a level of instability that could, one day, make a Chile-style intervention plausible. This is not speculation. It's a sober analysis based on historical patterns, declassified U.S. documents, and the geopolitical chessboard now reshaping South America. Part 1. What actually happened in Chile, 1970 to 1973, and what the CIA really did. To understand whether a Chile-style coup could occur in Venezuela, we first have to revisit the facts of what happened in Chile. In 1970, Salvador Allende became the first democratically elected Marxist president in Latin America. The U.S. government, under President Nixon and National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger, viewed his election as a direct strategic threat, fearing a second Cuba. Declassified CIA files now confirm the CIA poured millions into Chile to undermine Allende. They funded opposition parties, unions, and business groups. They covertly financed the anti-Allende newspaper El Mercurio. They backed strikes and economic disruption. And through Track 2, they attempted to provoke the Chilean military into removing Allende before he even took office. The most extreme action came in the failed kidnapping of Army Chief René Schneider. Schneider opposed military intervention. CIA-supported groups tried to abduct him to spark a crisis. He was shot and later died. While the CIA did not execute the 1973 coup directly, its actions over 3 years created the political, economic, and military conditions that made a coup highly likely, and the U.S. backed Augusto Pinochet as soon as he seized power. This is the blueprint some fear could repeat elsewhere. Part 2. Venezuela. Today, the conditions of a potential coup. Now let's shift to Venezuela. Under the rule of Nicolas Maduro, successor to Hugo Chavez and head of the United Socialist Party, Venezuela is collapsing under the weight of hyperinflation, state corruption, mass migration, food shortages, collapsing oil production, human rights abuses, intense political polarization. This is not the Venezuela of the 1990s or early Chavez years. It is a country with deeply fractured institutions, entrenched criminal networks, and a military that profits from the regime's survival through black market participation, gold mining, and drug trafficking. In short, Venezuela is unstable, economically collapsed, and heavily militarized, the same kind of pressure cooker Chile became in the early 1970s. But the similarities go even deeper. Part 3, Parallel Number 1. Economic collapse creates political opportunity. In Chile, the U.S. strategy was simple: make the economy scream. Economic collapse delegitimizes the ruling government and pushes the population toward desperation, protest, and political fragmentation. In Venezuela, the economy is already screaming, loudly, without any external push. GDP has collapsed by more than 75%. Inflation remains among the world's highest. Oil production has crashed. Millions of Venezuelans have fled the country. Like Chile in 1973, economic conditions become a natural power vacuum, one that powerful groups, including foreign governments, can exploit. Part 4. Parallel Number 2. Military factions become political actors. Chile's coup was only possible because the military eventually turned against Allende. In Venezuela, the military, especially high-ranking officers, benefits from the regime through narcotics trafficking partnerships, illegal gold mining, smuggling fuel, kickbacks from the nationalized oil industry, control of food distribution. But that does not mean the military is loyal. It means the military is paid. If the benefits stop, so could loyalty. And here lies a dangerous parallel. When the survival of the military elite becomes uncertain, a coup becomes a rational option. Part 5. Parallel Number 3. foreign powers shape internal politics. 2 minutes. Chile was a Cold War battlefield. So is Venezuela, but now with multiple players. The U.S. still sees Venezuela as a regional security threat, especially due to drug trafficking corridors, migrant flows, alliances with Iran, and presence of foreign mercenaries. Russia supplies weapons, advisors, and disinformation support. China provides surveillance technology, economic aid, and cyber control tools. Cuba embedded intelligence officers throughout the Venezuelan state structure. Iran moving into oil infrastructure and long-term energy partnerships. This is no longer a two-sided chess match. It's a crowded battlefield where any major shock, including a coup, becomes geopolitically significant. Part 6. Could the U.S. execute a Chile-style strategy today? Let's be clear and factual. There is no evidence the CIA is attempting a Chile-style destabilization campaign in modern Venezuela. But could they? More importantly, would they?
Y le digamos a Donald Trump con Venezuela, no te metas.
Here's what makes Venezuela a plausible candidate. 1. The Maduro regime is deeply hostile to U.S. interests, from alliances with adversarial states to regional criminal networks. 2. The economy is already collapsed. No need to manufacture crisis. The conditions that took years to create in Chile already exist naturally in Venezuela. 3. Parts of the population want regime change. Millions of Venezuelans have openly called for Maduro's removal. 4. Military corruption makes officers vulnerable to pressure. When generals are involved in trafficking or smuggling, they are easily coerced, bribed, or flipped. 5. Regional powers quietly support a transition. Colombia, Brazil, Panama, Peru, all affected by Venezuelan migration and trafficking, would not oppose a transition. But one key difference remains. In Chile, the U.S. had a strong, unified military to work with. In Venezuela, the military is fragmented, criminalized, and heavily infiltrated by Cuban intelligence. This makes a coup possible, but also chaotic and unpredictable. Part 7. If a coup happened in Venezuela, what would it look like? Based on historical patterns, intelligence reports, and regional dynamics, a Venezuela coup would likely follow one of 3 models. Scenario 1. A palace coup. A faction inside Maduro's own inner circle turns on him. Senior military officers, key political figures, or the Cuban intelligence bloc. This would be fast, quiet, and tightly controlled, similar to how many coups unfold in authoritarian states. Scenario 2. A military restoration coup. Mid-level officers revolt, citing corruption and economic collapse. This is closer to the Chile model: tanks in the streets, communication networks seized, leadership replaced, constitution suspended. This is the highest risk scenario for regional stability. Scenario 3. A foreign-influenced regime transition. Not a direct CIA operation, but intense foreign pressure shaping events. This could involve sanctions, negotiated exit guarantees, amnesty deals for military leaders, covert diplomatic alignment, and support from neighboring governments. This is arguably the most realistic path today. Part 8. What would the U.S. gain from a coup? A stable Venezuela with functioning institutions could reduce drug trafficking routes, reduce mass migration, stabilize regional energy markets, weaken Russia and Iran's presence in the Americas, and restore U.S. influence in a region that has drifted away. This does not mean the U.S. will pursue such an outcome through covert means, only that the incentives exist. Part 9. What would the U.S. risk? A failed or chaotic coup in Venezuela could create mass violence, refugee flows, power vacuums controlled by cartels or militias, Russian and Iranian reactions, Cuban retaliation, regional instability on a scale not seen in decades. This risk calculation may be one reason the U.S. has avoided direct action so far. Conclusion: is a Chile-style coup in Venezuela possible? The answer is not simple. But here is the sober conclusion. Venezuela today displays many of the same political, economic, and military fault lines that made the 1973 Chilean coup possible. The difference is not the conditions. Those are already present. The difference is the global landscape, more complex, more crowded, and far more dangerous. Could a coup happen? Yes. Could foreign intelligence services shape it, encourage it, or accelerate it? History shows it is possible, but if a coup does come, it would not be a repeat of 1973. It would be something far more unpredictable and potentially far more explosive in a world where great power competition has returned to South America. History does not repeat, but patterns do.